But something that I feel like I've been really navigating lately is enjoying the journey. We hear all the time, like, enjoy the journey, enjoy the journey. And you're like, no, like the journey sucks. Like, I want to be there. And like, you don't get it. And I'm in the struggle. But I feel like something that I have started to notice recently is just like the journey is your life, though. If every day makes up your life and every day you're feeling stressed or like you should be doing something or you're not doing enough, you're not enjoying your life. Like, this is all self-imposed. But it's like, what if part of enjoying the journey is slowing down, is knowing that like if you did one task today, that like that's life, that's good enough. You don't need to be hustling and grinding every single day of your life. Your life is meant to be enjoyed. Okay, hello you guys. Welcome to this week's episode of the Expand and Evolve podcast. I wanted to come on and record. I have a few thoughts, okay? So I don't know exactly where this is going to go, but I'm just going to flow with it and share some things that I feel like have been kind of coming through for me, because I feel like when I share them and record them, typically if I'm feeling it, someone else is feeling it. And there's a few ranges that I want to do because I feel like I haven't really done an episode recently around relationships. And so there's a part of me that feels like I need to do an update on that part of my life and like things that I feel like I've learned over the last 2 years since I started this podcast and started recording and started sharing my journey and dealing with the separation and then dating and like all of these things that were very new to me. How much has shifted for me since the beginning and then kind of where I'm at right now. And so I kind of want to do a podcast on that, but I'm feeling like I need to talk about something else first. And if based on time, if I get through this other stuff really quickly, like maybe I'll make this one have the dating part in it also. And if not, I'm just going to record a part 2 immediately after this, talking all about that. So in this episode specifically, I don't even know how to articulate exactly what I'm trying to get across, but something that I feel like I've been really navigating lately is enjoying the journey. Okay, this is an overused phrase we hear all the time, like, enjoy the journey, enjoy the journey. And you're like, no, like the journey sucks. Like, I want to be there. And like, you don't get it. And I'm in the struggle and I'm in the hard. And like, I just want to be there. And so it can be annoying when people say enjoy the journey and you're like, but the journey sucks. And I fully understand that. But I feel like something that I have started to notice recently is just like the journey is your life, though. And every day, okay, hear me out. I'll see if I can articulate this well because I said it in a voice and I was like, dang, this needs to be a podcast. It was so good. But if you were to think about your life, okay, what's your life made up of? Your life is made up of days, hours, minutes, seconds, days, years. That makes up your life. Okay, so I feel for a lot of us, we get stuck in this, not like there's not enough time. And like you want to do so much in a day and you want to accomplish so much and you want to make sure you're doing something with every day because every day matters. And yes, that is true, especially if you are building a business or like wanting to change your life, like wanting to lose weight. Like, yes, days, 24-hour periods, like you do need to show up for your business and you do need to move your body and you do need to nourish yourself. And like days lead to months, which lead to change. Yes. Okay. We know that, like the logical linear timelines of life, we understand that. But at the same time, I'm like, if every day makes up your life and every day you're feeling stressed or like you should be doing something or you're not doing enough and, you know, like you're unable to be present and you're not enjoying the journey, which is like the day-to-day life, you're not enjoying your life. And I don't know if this is going to land as powerfully as it did for me when I started to actually understand this, but I feel like it's important to talk about because I can't remember what I was reading. And it talks about how in different cultures, I can't remember where it was. It was some country and it was a different culture and community. And they were saying like the whole point of life is you need to enjoy it. So let's say you're going to work, for example, even if you don't love your job, like you need to find a way to enjoy it. Like if you're finishing a task, you have to enjoy yourself doing the task. Even if it's hard, like you find a way to make it joyful because at the end of the day, every day that you feel joy, like that's making up your life. So do you want to live a joyful life and a happy life and an inspired life where you like how you feel every day? Or are you constantly going to be going in and out of every day thinking like, oh, like by the end of the night, like I wish I did this and I wish I did that. And tomorrow I'm going to do all these things and you still don't do them. And then you still feel like every day sucks rather than being like, wow, I did this today. Like what if we're not supposed to accomplish so much every day? this is what it was kind of coming down to. It was like, okay, I want to do this and this and this and this. But it's like, what if part of enjoying the journey is slowing down, is knowing that like if you did one task today to move your business forward or do something that was on your never ending list of to-dos, that like that's life. That's good enough. I think we've come to this place where it's like, do more and hustle harder. And like, how can you get the most done? And like there's some race. And what I'm noticing for myself is like, when I first built my business, okay, is there value in the hustle and the grind and like making every day count and like doing a lot in a day, especially if you have like a timeline for something? Yeah. But at the same time, when I was working so hard, which I didn't actually find hard because I was having so much fun doing it, was I in a moment of like all out passion and obsession in a really good, healthy way with what I was doing? Yeah. So was I building something really amazing? Yeah. But like I enjoyed it. And so even though I was working a lot or doing a lot, I enjoyed it. Where I think sometimes we're adding so much to our to-do list in a day that we're so busy, but we're exhausted doing it because we're adding too much of stuff that doesn't light us up and isn't fun and isn't what we actually feel like doing in that moment. And this is going to come down to like, I'm going to explain how I feel like our days in our life and we need to start operating with the cycles and the seasons of the earth and nature, because when you try to fight it, you're fighting yourself, and like your body is nature. So I'm going to go into that in a second, because I think this will help you start to conceptualize this and understand it in a way that you're like, dang, this hits and I can apply this to my life. And so in that day to day, that whole feeling of like, you need to enjoy the journey, I was like, wait a second, if you really break it down, and you're like, enjoy the journey. Okay, well, every day is a journey. And if I start enjoying every day, then I'm going to learn to enjoy the journey and I'm going to enjoy life. You know, when you start to like break down the words and you're like, holy shit, like I understand what this means in such a different way. So I wrote some notes on this because I was talking about it and I was like, dang, I want to like write all of this down. But essentially what I started noticing for myself is I feel like in this new business venture, in this new season of my life, I feel like I'm battling two worlds and two versions of me. And it's like, which one are you going to choose? And for the first time, I think I have so much self-awareness and so much awareness around how I feel. And that's the most important thing, is like the frequency and the feelings that I'm living in, that when I notice myself fall into scarcity or stress or frustration or like feeling like I need to be doing more, but I'm not doing enough. And then that's leading me to feeling like not enoughness and going into doubt or worry or fear or whatever. I'm like, where is all of this coming from? And I'm like, this is all self-imposed. It's all coming from me feeling like I need to make sure everything makes sense logically and linearly, or that it's like a failure. Or for example, like, assuming that by a certain deadline, something should happen, or being able to achieve quick success. All of these things that I'm like, wait a second, I'm the reason I'm feeling all these things is because of me. Like no one else is putting on pressure on myself saying like, you need to do this by this date, or this will only work if you do this. And this is the only way it's going to make sense. No one else is doing that. No one. It's me. And I realized, shit, like how many of us are living stressed out, anxious, in scarcity, in fear, in all of these feelings. And it's literally all stemming from our own internal dialogue and thoughts that are not even real. They're like scenarios that don't even exist, but we are living them out in our minds. And then it's making us show up and like miss our life in a way. Because it's like, if every day is what makes up your life and every day that's how you're spending it, because that's what your mind is doing behind the scenes, you're literally missing out on your life. And I hope this is like starting to click for you. Like I feel like I'm not in the same energy I was when I realized it. And I wish I was having an epiphany right now live with you, because I feel like it would hit more, but hopefully this is kind of starting to make sense, that all of these feelings, and for me, like this battle that I feel like I was going through was like old me who used hustle and like worked really hard and like utilized every minute. And like I needed to be showing up and doing the most in order to get there as quickly as possible and like make the journey go faster. Cause like if I'm faster, it means I'm more successful, or like speed is better. New me is like, but like slow down. Do you really need to go so fast? Like who told you you needed to do anything quickly? Who told you you needed to go above and beyond every day? Like what if, because this is something new for me, I lay down. Okay. So like I have a busy day, I'm doing all the things, and I give myself permission to sit on the couch for like 15, 20 minutes. That recharges me. I usually get newfound energy. My whole life up until the age of 33, I didn't really let myself do this. It was like if I woke up in the morning, let's say I went to school or I went to university or I went to work, okay, majority of my life, then it's like you have to be productive. So you're like productive all day. And if you sit at home, then you're going to lose your energy and then you're not going to do enough. And so like make sure before you even sit down, you do all the things. Because by the time you sit down, you're not going to want to get back up. So like make sure you've done all the things before you sit down. So you like deserve to sit, essentially. And I started reflecting and I was like, wait a second. I'm taking a moment sometimes at like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 p.m. to just sit down. And I'm like, this is actually energizing. This feels really nice. If I want to enjoy my life, which is my day to day, how can I bring moments in that I enjoy? Like, why am I putting it off to like a Friday night for me to be able to sit and do nothing, or like a certain day that I get to sit and do nothing? Like, what if my body really appreciates that 15 to 20 minutes of just sitting and chilling out and having some quiet time? Okay, if I really like that, why am I basically punishing myself for the rest of the week until it feels like I deserve that time? No, you deserve that time every day. Is this landing? Where it's like the things that bring you joy, how can you bring them into your everyday life so that you actually enjoy this life that's creating the journey of your life, which is going to be what makes up everything that you feel at the end of it. And I feel like this is so important because for so many of us, we don't do that. We like live for the next trip or the next weekend, or like when we hit this goal, then I will. When I do this, then I'll give myself that time. But it's like, what if you started treating every day as like, how can I make today filled with things that light me up and things that feel good and things that make me feel my best so that I can bring more enjoyment into my everyday life? And it just made me realize like, you have to actually let yourself what did I write? I wrote, let every day be enjoyable and enjoy the journey. Okay. And then I started talking about, and I was thinking about this, I was like, but if you rush it, because you feel like you need this like false timeline, which by the way, for so many of us, we put on these like, they're bullshit timelines. They're false timelines. No one is giving us this timeline. We're putting it on ourselves. And then if we don't hit it, we all of a sudden feel like a failure or that we suck and we go into scarcity. And it's like, no one put that timeline on anything but you. So it's like all self-imposed. All of the shit that you're feeling and like when you don't feel good, like most of it is self-imposed. And if you can start to realize that, then you're like, oh shit, like I really am the creator of my life and I can choose to do things differently. And so in this season, I'm going to go through that in a sec. But in this season of my life, I feel like I have this newfound awareness around my own actions and how I've in the past put myself in feelings of stress or doubt or worry or scarcity or not enoughness based on putting these like rules on achievements or accomplishments that don't need to be there. And instead of feeling like I need to rush or hit something by a certain date, it's like, what if I just truly practiced enjoying the journey? What if I just did everything that I could do in a day that made me feel like, wow, I did something today to move my business forward, or like I did something today to make that better, or I did the thing that I said I wanted to do, and not trying to feel like all of the to-do lists that are impossible to do in one day, like I need to carry that weight on my back as if, oh, I didn't do enough though. And tomorrow I need to try to do more because there's still so much to do. And instead it's like, yeah, the list is there. These are all things I want to do. Like almost seeing your to-do list as a bucket list where it's like, yeah, these are things you're going to do in your life, but you don't need to put all this pressure to get it done as quickly as possible. Like just allow yourself to get them done as it shows up and as it happens. Yeah. And I just started feeling like, okay, if you rush it, you're like, I just need to get it, I need to get it done, I need to get done. But it's like, if you do that, it's like, then it's over. And then you reflect and you're like, all these things that you wanted so badly that were like your dreams, okay, that you put so much weight into, that you were so excited for, you rush it and then you have it. And you usually feel depressed because it's like the most fun part of your life is the pursuit of the thing that you want, not necessarily actually getting the thing that you want. It's like the pursuit of it is what lights you up. The pursuit of a vision that's in front of you, a future that excites you, like that's what makes you move. That's what's fun. And so if you rush that, it's like now you've hit it and then what? Like, yeah, you have to think of another thing and you need vision. And I talk about that where it's like having vision and knowing that next thing. But it's like, what if you just enjoyed the process of getting there? Just a thought. Like, allow yourself to actually enjoy the process where you're like, yes, you're working hard, and yes, you really want this thing, and yes, you know you desire it, and yes, you're moving toward it. But also, like, how can you enjoy every day that you're working toward it at the same time? Rather than like working like a dog or a slave and like thinking that you need to do all this stuff and like putting yourself in prison almost, you know? Like some of us literally imprison ourselves in these long hours and these long things and like not rewarding ourselves because we haven't achieved something where it's like, yeah, but what if it took you 5 years? Do you want to have 5 years where you didn't enjoy it at all? Or would you rather have 5 years where like, yes, you're moving toward that. And yes, your vision is so clear, but like you're enjoying your time as you do it. You're finding a way to love every day, even though you don't have the thing that you really want yet. And I just started to realize like, wow, if we started putting that in practice, how different we would show up for our everyday life, how different we would show up for our businesses or our jobs or our families. Like, you know, yeah. So just not putting yourself with that unnecessary pressure. And something that I really just felt was like, is any dollar ever really worth putting your body into a feeling of stress and rush and making yourself feel like, okay, well, I need to put this invisible timeline on that's not even real. And then it immediately makes you feel stressed out and anxious rather than like, no, I'm just going to take these actions. Like nothing, to me, it's just like no dollar and nothing is worth taking you out of that feeling of peace and flow and ease. Like, are you going to have to be like running for stuff sometimes and no, it doesn't feel so like flowy and easeful? Yeah, but you're having fun. Like, I think there's a difference of hustling with force and also like doing a lot in a day because you're so excited. And I'll give you 2 examples of this so that it starts to click. So for example, in me getting the food forest done, the week prior was busy. Every hour of every day, like deliveries were happening, things were happening. We were calling people, we were having things show up, we were planning it. The food forest planting day was a really long day. All of it was enjoyable. Was it a lot? Was it, there's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of stuff happening and a lot of long hours? Yeah, but all of it was enjoyable because it was something that I was so excited to do and something I was excited that I had been working toward. So even though it was long hours and it was hard work, it was fun. And another example, like when I was going to promote to the top of this company that I'm with right now, like right now, as if I'm going to be somewhere else. Like I'm saying that like maybe for you guys, if you have a job or something where, you know, it's like a company that you're only with temporarily, but the business that I built right now, this, when I went to promote to the top of the company, I was working all day, every day. Like I woke up excited. I woke up only thinking about it. I woke up like working toward it until I went to sleep. I would sleep and I would wake up thinking about it again. And none of that was out of hustle or stress or not even flow and ease. Like honestly, like was I working really hard and I was like moving and I was doing a ton of stuff? Yeah, but it was flowing and it was easy because I was so excited about it. So it doesn't mean that you can't work hard or have a day that you do a ton of stuff for that one thing. But I think sometimes we carry all this weight on ourselves. Like we need to do all these different things in a day. And I'm like, for some of us, that's just not how we function. So I was talking to someone about this the other day about working out, for example. Do I love to work out every day? For sure. Like if I could in a perfect world, I would. But at the same time, there is times where I'm so focused and in such a creative flow that to go work out interrupts that. And so sometimes I'm like, what if some days we're not meant to do it all? What if some days are supposed to be focused around like, hey, it's kind of, you know, you're not really in your creative flow state. You're not doing a ton for your business or anything else, but like you worked out and you went for a walk and it was like a super active day for you. And then another day you wake up and you're so in flow with like so much creation and so many ideas and you're in conversations and you're getting stuff done or you're in a really good flow state for your work. And it's like, then you beat yourself up because you didn't work out. But it's like, yeah, but you had an amazing day around creation. Like celebrate that. I just think sometimes we're trying to be all the things every day and it's not possible. You cannot be all the things every day. If you're a really structured person and you love a routine and it's like you can work out and then you can do your work for 2 hours and then you have family time for 2 hours and then you do something else and that works for you, amazing. But why I want to bring in the seasons to this is because I feel like for most women, it's not relatable. Like there's going to be days where you feel like being a couch potato, but you get a ton of admin stuff done. And then there's going to be days where you feel like so inspired and you want to be forward facing, you want to like record videos or make content or do the things, and like you get all that done. But then you're still beating yourself up because it's like, well, I didn't get the admin task done, or well, I didn't get to the gym. And it's like, yeah, but you did all this other shit that you were so excited to do. What if we're not meant to do the same things every day? And do you get what I'm saying? Like some days you're going to feel like, wow, I really feel like cleaning my house today. And you get all that done. But then on all the days you didn't feel like cleaning your house, you're beating yourself up for not cleaning your house, where it's like, maybe you just weren't in a cleaning mood. And like, what if you just left it at that? And like, but those other days you got your workouts in and you made really good food and you spent the whole day with your family and you were present. Like, I think we just put this invisible pressure on us to accomplish and achieve all of these things and all of the pieces of us that we want to do well and want to be in one day. And I just feel like not every day is meant to fulfill all of that. And I even find sometimes for me, like if I prioritize working out every morning, let's say for a week, my business, okay, there's days where I work out and I feel on top of the world and I feel like my best self. And so I show up for the world differently. I show up for my kids differently. I show up for my business differently. Yes. And then there's times where it's like, I'm in such a state of like getting stuff done and my life is really busy that day. It just doesn't make sense to try to force a workout. Does this make sense? So it's like giving yourself permission to, if you want to live in a life of flow and ease, like, how are you going to do that? Some days are not going to fit the perfect structure, especially if you're not just home a lot. Like, okay, so if you had to drive an hour and a half, you had to go somewhere and it's like a day that's different. How are you going to go beat yourself up on all the things that you needed to also do when it's like, yeah, but you needed to do all that with that day? Is this landing and making sense? Like, I think we just put these invisible pressures and layers on ourselves that we do not need to put on ourselves. And that brings me into the seasons. So in a year, okay, in a typical, depending where you live, obviously some places don't have seasons, but where I live, we have 4 distinct seasons, okay? There's fall, there's winter, there's spring, there's summer. And in my business, I notice a shift in different seasons depending on what time of the year we're in, okay? As women, we work and operate on like 28-ish day cycles, okay? Okay. So if nature and the earth functions in different cycles and seasons, and then the moon does and we do, because we're nature, we're part of the earth too. I just think, what in us as humans thought that we could fight against it? Okay. And what I mean by that is I want you to think about a tree, the most beautiful tree you've ever seen. I have one right outside my house, the neighbor's house. I love this tree. I love the leaves. I love the color that they change into in the fall and how they start to shift. And then when they fall, it's so beautiful as they're like shedding. And then it goes back to just the trunk of the tree. And everything is lost and they shed everything that doesn't serve them anymore and all of the old. And they go into a little bit of a hibernation mode until spring and they start to blossom and bloom and the new leaves show up and it's beautiful. I'm bringing this up because imagine in the fall, you went to the tree and you were like, I need you to produce leaves. Like, I need you to produce leaves. Like, I just want to see your leaves. Like, why can't I see your leaves? And you're sitting there for like 4 months staring at it. Like, I want to see your leaves, but no leaves are coming. No leaves are coming because it's not the season for the leaves to come. Okay. It's like the season where it gets to rest and restore and build up the strength internally to go blossom on the outside. And I'm sharing this because I hope you can see like how insane that would be to sit at the trunk of the tree demanding the leaves to show up, that like it literally can't produce until like, 3-6 months later. Same thing if in the summer, for example, let's say all the green and all the stunning beauty and it's like lavish and beautiful and vibrant and it's just like sitting there like, ooh, look at me, I'm a tree, and like look at all this life on me and all this freshness on me, like look at me, right? And in that season, we're thinking like, oh, I just wish I could like go inside and like rest and retreat and work. And like, that's I'm talking about the person. But imagine the tree trunk is like, oh, I hate this. I hate being so vibrant and all this beauty. Like, I can't wait to just go back to being a tree trunk. I don't know if this is making sense. I feel like I'm in a mode of like, I have so much on my mind that I'm trying to articulate, but it's tough for me right now. And I'm kind of tired. I'm bringing this up. I keep saying that too. This is like my new one-liner. Like, I'm bringing this up. But I want you to start to see how like, do you see how like unnatural that is? Like, obviously, like I know I've lived by this tree for like 6 years. I know it cycles. I know what color it goes. I know September to October, it starts to change. It makes me almost sad because it's so beautiful, but I know the leaves are going to be gone soon. But I also know by the next year, it's going to be back and it's going to be beautiful. And I'm just like, what if we're also meant to approach our businesses that way and our life that way? Like, what if instead of facing and feeling this like force to your business, that it's like, no, but in an annual cycle, a 1-year cycle, just like a tree, it goes through its phases. There's going to be a phase where you may feel so like out there and vibrant and like you're enjoying life. And then there could be a season where you feel really hunkered down and like kind of like a hermit where you're like happy to work and be creative and you're more inside. There could be a season where you feel like you're really shedding parts of you to go into like your little hibernation before you spring as a new version of you in the new year. All of these things. And it just started making me think like, okay, in our business also, just like the earth, all the different seasons, how I feel, and I'll explain my take, and then you can take this if this relates to you or not. But for me, in the fall is when I typically feel the most inspired to work. I have new ideas. I feel like new creations are coming. I'm excited to execute on them. I'm excited to work. I'm excited to be inside. I'm excited to go create. I'm excited to write or post or record a podcast or like talk to new people or build my business or like help other people build their business. Like I feel excited about doing all of that. And in that season, I find I have more routine. When it gets darker earlier, I'm at home earlier, which gives me more time in the home, more time to do things in the home, more structure and routine. Okay. So I find I'm really, really productive in business in that season. Then we have winter where I feel like it's the same. I feel way more tired, and I'm sure most of you do too. It's grayer, it's darker. There's less time outdoors. There's less time in nature. There's less going on outside. But again, it's like a 90-day cycle essentially of you being in your home for the majority of the time. So you're spending time with family, you're getting things done inside. You're still kind of in that work season. But I feel like we start to feel this like itch. Okay. And I feel like every winter people typically find this where they're like, how much longer of this like darkness? I can't wait for it to be sunny and spring and like I want to get outside again. So we look forward to the fall because we can't wait to be inside and like have that season. Then we start wanting to be outside more. And we feel that in the winter when we can't wait for spring to happen. And in the spring, I feel like that's the season where all of that time you spent inside, think of it like your mini cocoon. You spent it inside and you had ideas and thoughts and creations and things kind of flowing through you. Now it's your time to like blossom, just like the tree, where it's like, okay, that's it. We went through the winter. We hunkered down. We did the stuff we needed to do inside. And now we're ready to blossom on the outside. And that's where like a lot of your creations come to life. Okay. So in the spring, did I write anything down for this? Yeah, you're kind of feeling more like alive and like you want to share creations and you're maybe more vibrant and more forward facing and all the things, right? And that's where I almost feel like, okay, so fall is where you start to like create everything, have all the ideas, things are like happening in your mind. Then you go through winter where it's like, oh, you can't wait to be in spring to like bring them to light. Then you go into spring, you're more vibrant, you're more open, you're excited, and you'll probably see this in your business. Like those 3 seasons are the best for at least the business I'm in. And for a lot of people, I'm sure it's the same. And then summer happens. And in summer, it's like, okay, you like see it as almost like your summer break, like how we used to be in school. And it's like, hey, you did all the things throughout the whole year. You got it all done. And now you get summer break. Like, what if life is set up that way because we're meant to operate like that? Like in the summer now, it's like, hey, you did all the stuff. You spent the year doing everything you needed to. And now this is your time to just be free and be blossomed and like vibrant and alive and go enjoy your life. And sometimes I think we expect our business to be the same every day and every month and every hour, when it's like, yeah, but if we operate with the seasons, it's never going to work that way because we're in different seasons of our life and our business and our journey, depending on the seasons of the year and of life and of nature. And so instead of creating force around it, like, oh my gosh, I don't understand why like this month nothing's really happening. It's like, yeah, because everyone's in their summer season. They're enjoying life. They're being vibrant. They're being talkative. They're like enjoying what they worked all year to achieve and move toward. And now they're having joy and enjoyment in their day to day. There's the sun out till it's late. You want to be outside. You're excited to be outside. You're excited to be with people. You're in connection and in community more so than in the other months. And so I just was thinking about this and I was like, if we stop trying to force ourselves to not operate like nature and instead just worked with it and understood that like this is the reality every single year, this is how our life functions, just stop trying to force anything. Understand that there's different seasons for different things and you don't need to be operating the same in every season. There's going to be different versions of you. That's important. That's part of it. And I was just thinking how in Europe, for example, like they take summers off. Yeah, because no one's that productive in the summer. Like they want to be outside. They want to be enjoying life. They want to lay on the grass. They want to lay on the beach. They want to be with their families and their friends and stay up really late and like adventure and go hiking and doing whatever. It's like we want to go enjoy life. So what if you just anticipated summers are for enjoyment? I'm going to work so hard throughout the year because I know that this is my time where I'm like good at creation and working and all of the things. And then in the summer, I'm going to allow myself to enjoy it because I worked so hard all year. And whoever conditioned us to make us think that we need to show up and work hard every single day, it's bullshit. Your life is also meant to be enjoyed. You need to have days that you enjoy what you're doing and you enjoy life without feeling this pressure like you need to be accomplishing and achieving all the time. That's not realistic. You have seasons where you're very driven and accomplishing and achieving. That's amazing. And then like allow your body the time to just rest and enjoy the fruits of your labor, which in the summer, what happens? Most of the trees give us fruit. Why? They worked so hard. They were producing all through the fall. And then it's like, here's the fruits of your labor. And then everyone gets to enjoy it because summers are meant to be enjoyed. So if you start seeing your life like that and relate it to your business, don't put yourself in that unnecessary scarcity and pressure that like literally you're trying to fight nature and you can't fight a force that's nature. It just is. So if you understand that and accept it, like I just think life would get so much more beautiful. Okay, last thought on that in terms of what did I want to say? Okay. Yeah, just trusting and leaning into the seasons as our natural cycles and not trying to force or live in guilt for the natural rhythm of things. And yeah, and like drop the false timelines that are giving you stress and put you in anything that's related to scarcity. Like you should be leaning towards the things that make you feel peace. And also, kind of like my last thought on that as a woman, I kind of already touched on this, but like if our bodies go through 28-day cycles, anticipate and expect that around, when you're about to hit your menstrual cycle, you're probably not going to want to be super forward facing or on your stories or feel your prettiest or your best. And like you might not want to be like out there. So pre-plan your month around that. Understand that that's insane to think that every day, let's say for 30 days, you're going to show up the exact same way every day. No, it's not possible. Can you create routine and discipline? Yeah. But like to think you're going to show up the exact same way every single day is not realistic. So giving yourself permission to understand that, like, again, it's normal. Stop beating yourself up for different days. You feeling different things. When you feel super depressed at the end of the month, know that it's normal. When you feel like everything's falling apart, know that it's like, oh, okay, period's coming. It's okay. I know this will pass. Like get to know yourself and your body to understand the emotions that show up for you and that they're not forever, but like navigate them, journal through them, take some time to read, take some time to pause. Like you don't need to be hustling and grinding every single day of your life. Your life is meant to be enjoyed. So with that, I want to leave you with just understanding a little bit more around how you can conceptualize this into enjoying the journey. How can you bring things into your day that bring you more joy? How can you bring the feeling of like what allows you to feel peace and joy into your work and your practice? How can you bring that in? Because when you bring that in, it will allow you to just enjoy the days, which is what makes up your life. So thanks for bearing with me while I tried to articulate those thoughts. I really appreciate you being here. And I hope that this was helpful. I just feel like if this was helpful to me and it allowed me to stop like beating myself up and trying to live in a world that was built around a 24-hour cycle, which is just so unrealistic to expect yourself to show up every single day in the exact same format every 24 hours as if our hormones reset like that. It doesn't, especially women. You're fighting an uphill battle that you're never going to win. And so just give yourself the space and permission to flow with the cycles. Flow with them. Stop trying to force it. Like enjoy it, be with it, show up the best you can, but like flow with the cycles and like you'll stop facing so much resistance because you're flowing with the way that nature is and the way that life is. So with that, thank you so much for listening. If this episode was helpful, please share it with somebody, like it, subscribe, do all the things, follow it, do whatever you have to help just improve the amount of people who are reaching and coming to this podcast. Because I know there's certain episodes I have that really, 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 really help people. And so I want those people to be able to reach this and find it and know that this exists, because I think I really appreciate being able to just sit here openly and discuss all my thoughts and feelings. Sometimes I'm really on it and like so good at explaining, and I feel like I'm on fire. And then other times I have a hard time sometimes articulating my thoughts. But this is one of those episodes I found it hard to articulate. And yet, those ones that I kind of feel like, ugh, did I even get that point across well, are usually the ones where someone's like, that was so helpful for me. So, for whoever this episode was meant to reach, let me know. You can message me on Instagram, because I feel like it's always someone. Like whenever I talk about something, I'm like, why am I talking about this? It reaches someone and I want to know who that was. So message me on Instagram. I always try to make sure I see every DM. And just thank you so much for being here. Thanks for listening to the podcast. And I will see you and talk to you in the next episode. Bye.